profounder planes. This right here is an embodied form of the violet ray spectrum. Tap in and tune in Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Grand Rising with ChristoLight, your sacred space for discovering the Ascended Masters in crystal healing. Ashe. In this very moment, we're shifting our biofield, our cellular memory, our electrical system, breathing into ourselves. So I was in the Reiki session, I had my eyes closed, just focusing, and I didn't even set the intention of discovering my starseed lineage either. So I was just receiving Reiki, I was just open to what was highest for me, and through my mind's eye and my third eye perception, all of a sudden I saw a standing Lyran humanoid or lion humanoid. So during these critical events happening on the earth now that have open access into previous lifetimes, we are going back in time to observe humanity's original seeding and genetic ascendancy that is sourced directly from the cradle of Lyra and the Lyrans. Through trans-time connection, if we can do our part to stay out of fear and continually choose love and peace, we can create a link through time in which our present timeline can phase lock into the future timeline of the Christos. I'm gonna go ahead and reopen it so you guys can just see. But yeah, Voltron Lion People. The Voltron Lion People are a group of young heroes who pilot the 5 robotic lions that combine to form the giant robot Voltron. Each lion has its own pilot, and they work together. They can overcome great challenges and protect the universe from evil. So a Christos avatar is a term to describe a 12-dimensional simulatory conscious being, the highest expression of consciousness of the original human divine blueprint. Golden Eagle Grid is a golden gateway that is in Iraq and Iran. And if that doesn't tell you a lot right there about why there's so much activity in the Middle East,
sometimes called the First Great War, the Dracos invaded Lyran colonies, destroying entire star systems and scattering the Lyrans to places like the Playa, Sirius, Orion, and Andromeda.
2. Creative yet inconsistent, they are multi-talented, excelling in both science and the arts. Their minds are wired for innovation, and they often make major contributions, particularly in technology. But there's a downside. Because they are good at so many things, they struggle to stick with just one. A Vega starseed may dive into a project with immense passion, only to abandon.
So that being said, if you have any comments about Lyran starseeds, or you have experiences that you would like to share, feel free to drop them in the comments anytime. You can reach out to me as well if you'd like to book a Akashic Record soul origin meditation, where I can help you discover your soul origin. And we can also do Grand Rising and Grand Day. Welcome to this episode of Grand Rising with ChristoLight. We're burning a little bit of Palo Santo this rising, bringing some of that fresh, cleansing aroma. Palo Santo it's a great tool to use, similar to white sage. It does help with cleansing negative energy. It helps produce more negative ions for our being. And Palo Santo also, which is pretty nice, it also brings a uplifting and fresh aromatic energy into the field as well. Now, white sage is a little bit more so of just cleansing, sweeping, and protection, where the Palo Santo does that, but it also adds a little bit of uplifting energy due to the woodsy aroma. And you can always smudge and burn these type of tools long distance, online. Energy travels through all circuitry. So as long as you're open to the energy, you can connect with the energy field. All right. So with that being said, how are we today? We're going to take a moment kind of tune in with ourselves. There we go. Nice little beat. All right. So today, for our self-scan, self-check-in, we're going to switch it up a little bit. We got this beautiful beat in the background. And instead of just going in with the breath and analyzing ourselves, I'm going to guide us and move us through a little bit of body tapping. And with the body tapping, we'll also do some deep breathing, maybe even some positive affirmations. And we're just going to open up our channels, open up our centers, get the lymph nodes and the bloods and the organs flowing. And then we will dive in and begin our lesson for today, which is going to be on the Gateway of Andromeda, which is going to be very fascinating to discover together. And for some of us, we have heard of Andromeda, either through movies, shows, video games even. Because I know for myself, there is a game called Mass Effect, and they made a Andromeda version, Mass Effect Andromeda. So we're going to discover what Andromeda is in depth and why it is that we talk about it in these shows, movies, and video games. And something cool too is Andromeda is also correlated and connected to the Aurora Borealis, as it is a symbolic representation of our connection to Andromeda here on Earth. So as we dive into the self-scan, self-check-in for today, we're going to start with some body tapping. So if you'd like to join along with me, go ahead and get yourself comfortable. You can sit, lay, stand, whatever you feel. With the tapping, we'll just begin with the forehead, taking the padded parts of your fingertips and just begin tapping on the center of your forehead. And then synchronize your own breath with the tapping. You can tap around the temples. You can tap directly in the pineal gland area, right between the eyebrows. Now we'll go down to the cheeks and the jawline. And then we'll go down to the neck. And we'll go down to the collarbones, down to those lymphatic systems in that area. Maybe rub it down, kind of stretch out, getting inflammation nice and moved. Get some of that chemical flowing, the blood flowing. Then you can do your thymus right below the throat, the top of your chest. Deep breaths, opening your centers, opening your chi. Down to the center of the chest, the heart chakra. Then go to the arms and kind of slap the arms. Kind of get under the armpit area as there's lymph nodes down there as well. Maybe rub it downwards. Get that moving. All right. Then you can make your way down to the legs if you would like. All right, let's go ahead and give that neck maybe a couple of rotations. Some of us are just getting out of bed or just waking up, so it's nice to stretch the body a little bit, shake it around, get it loosened. Maybe get those hips turning, the spine, shrug the shoulders. Take a few deep breaths through the body, all the way through the body to the earth. Go ahead and take a couple more deep breaths. We'll do some affirmations. You can repeat the affirmations if you would like. I am overflowing with love from the divine. I am surrendering to truth, to clarity, to knowledge. I am integrating my wisdom. I am becoming stronger by day. The chaos and the experiences, the obstacles are all strengthening me. I am not less than the world. I am not greater than the world. I am perfectly, divinely in my perfect place. I am full of beauty, gifts, offerings. I am worthy of receiving beauty, gifts, and offerings. I am satisfied with being who I am. May I create freely my free will, without fear, without pain. I am confident in who I am. Ashe. Go ahead and take another deep breath and close out. All right. So there's our self-scan for today. Nice tapping, stretching, breathing, and affirmations to start. All right. So we left off talking about Lyra in our last episode, which is the host for this universal matrix that we are in of the 12 dimensions. Now we are going to move into the 9th dimensional gateway, which is Andromeda. So let's take a look and get a little preview of what it is that Andromeda is all about.
This is going to blow your mind. Our Milky Way isn't alone. There's a giant cosmic neighbor and it's heading our way. Here's why you should care about Andromeda. The Andromeda galaxy is the largest galaxy close to us, just 2.5 million light-years away. It's home to 1 trillion stars, and it's so big you can actually spot it from Earth with the naked eye on a clear night. But here's the wild part. Andromeda is speeding towards us at about 110 kilometers per second. In roughly 4 billion years, Milky Way and Andromeda will collide and merge, reshaping everything we know about our night sky. This isn't just a cosmic fun fact. It's a reminder of how huge and dynamic our universe truly is. So next time you look up, remember, the universe is always moving and we're right in the middle of the action.
Wow. Okay, I just learned something already. I didn't expect that just through that little preview. So he said Andromeda is getting closer to the Earth. And what we're about to discover is Andromeda is connected to our Great Mother. It is the home of our Great Mother, Sophia energy. So when you think about, the divine feminine rising, and then you hear that Andromeda is getting closer to our Earth, and our Earth is changing in its atmosphere, and it's changing in its structuring of the way it's organized and living. I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Wow. All right. So let's get into it. It's going to be fun. We're going to go to ascensionglossary.com as we usually do. Shout out to Lisa Renee. You guys can always look up Lisa Renee. She is a great galactic pioneer. Channels a lot of information. What was that? That was a little weird. I don't know where that came from. But alrighty. So Andromeda Galaxy. So the ancient galactic portal connected from Giza in Egypt once allowed passage through Sirius B and then through the Andromeda Galaxy. Andromeda has a galactic core that spirals and connects into our Milky Way galactic core during the ascension cycle. Currently, there's a tremendous amount of activity underway in this area around Giza on the Earth and Andromedan energies. The Giza portal is the heart chakra of the Earth. It also corresponds to the 4th gate and the 4th dimension. This portal is also interconnected to the location of the Hall of Records that releases the universal memory into the planetary memory bank. And the morphogenic fields, once the Sphinx, Great Pyramid, and Earth core open, this makes the planetary and soul incarnational memory available to humans with a minimum of 4th DNA activation. The galactic center and the Andromeda galactic core are intersecting. Another way to say that is that we are finally intersecting with the original core of our creation, the center point of all union. This is an aurora platform that creates passageway between the Milky Way and the Andromeda galaxy. Wow. This is starting to really make sense now, what the Great Awakening is on this planet. Oh, this is so deep. This is the rise of the Sophia, the Andromeda galaxy coming into alignment with our galactic center, which is Sirius, and then that aligning with Earth through the Giza. in Egypt at the heart chakra. Heart chakra, mother love, Venus. You think about all these different symbols of heart, love, unconditional healing. It's all connected in a way. So let's check out the Aurora platform and what that means real quick. So the Aurora platform, the consciousness units of the next universe, the rays of the next universe, the beings that live there in alignment with Crystal Star and Unity Intelligence are called Aurora. Crystal Star works with the Aurora to build Aurora platforms that are safe zones to step over their reversal fields running on the Earth from the frequency fence and the NET. So the reversal field is talking about basically the manipulation energy fields that are being placed and used by negative beings. Negative beings, beings that have self-righteous, dominant, or greed intentions with what they're doing. So they have created different manipulation fields and tactics through their galactic knowledge and wisdom and brought it to the Earth, and they deployed it on the Earth to help destroy our crystal codes, basically, for control and greed. So when we create these platforms and safe zones, we are anchoring crystal grid points for beings to activate, heal, and come online, which helps accelerate our evolution on Earth. So the Aurora platforms allow access into the passageway that leads to the area of the Ascension Earth in Andromeda. This is the Aquili matrix that transmits the mother's aqua ray daughter codes into the Earth crystal caverns. The elemental re-encryption process of this Avatar of Ascension project, as a part of the Aurora Guardian families, is an adjustment that actually changes the coordinates of your birth blueprint and its genetic imprint on the flesh. An encryption is a set of vibrations that hold energetic intention. Every thought that a person has is an encryption that takes us closer to or further from alignment with God's source. The Aurora re-encryptions is to return the divine blueprint that is encrypted in our silicate matrix as the crystal star or Christ coding. When on meditation journeys, the Aurora platform allows us to take a portion of our consciousness and a portion of our body into projection or glide. The first consciousness projection glides are to the closest safe zone spaces. The Aurora platforms in our Earth atmosphere, this is the ability to move one's etheric body out with one's consciousness in it to go to visit places that are in the Ascension system. There's a Aurora platform that creates passageway between the Milky Way and the Andromedan galaxy. Very interesting. Some of us can probably tune into and activate these Aurora platforms through our being, through our mind, and then astral travel into it. So the spanner gates connect with the Aurora platforms, which are the fields that connect with the opening doorways of the Aquili, the daughter code matrix that leads into existing out of this universal system called the Andromedan system. Spanner gates are natural pathways that interconnect the multidimensional layers of the light body that is organic to the crystal consciousness architecture. And we'll read that last part too. So the keepers of the crystal core, the consciousness units of the next universe, the rays of the next universe, and the light beings that live there are in alignment with the Paladorian covenant, the crystal star, and Unity Intelligence. They are called Aurora families. Crystal Star works with the Aurora families to build Aurora platforms that are safe zones to step through the reversal fields. And we kind of already talked about that. So I find it interesting too that they're mentioning the Paladorians. So I'm pretty sure Paladorians are mentioned in Star Wars. And it's connected to like Boba Fett and all them. I'm pretty sure they're called Paladorians, if I remember correctly. I'm gonna go ahead and look it up. Because if so, that's no coincidence whatsoever. Okay, so it's not Paladorians, it's Mandalorians. So they call them the Mandalorians. And that's the show with like Boba Fett and all that. That's interesting. Star Wars is a great one to really look into when it comes to galactic knowledge. It's pretty cool. So let's see here. Let's continue. The Aquafarian Andromedan Councils. So the Aquafarian races were lines that were a part of the original crystal star human race lines that became extinct in the universal time matrix after the electric wars. When the mother arc was ignited in the Earth core, the inner gates which connected to Andromeda were opened to the crystal core of the Earth. The protectors of the crystal core are of these Christic races called Aquafarians or Aquari lines. The Aquafarian councils from Andromeda started to be able to be in contact with the Indigo race lines around 2008. My first contact with them was in spring equinox of 08, and they were a part of the councils helping to hold Mother Arc principle in core and help to activate the crystal hearts or the Sophianic body for the planet. Many of us are genetically related to the Aquafarian races, which have a direct genetic relationship to Christ lineages. Some of us will undergo genetic rehabilitation through our Aquafarian DNA links which connects us to the future planet and Andromeda galaxy. For some of us, this is our future ascended Christos body in the next incarnation. Another name for the Andromeda galaxy is the Aquinos galaxy. Wow. So that's very interesting. I was talking about Andromeda and the Earth coming closer together. It talks about Andromeda being the future of our Earth civilization. And it just really shows you that that is where we're evolving into in this time, is this new Earth that we are developing together. So the Andromedan Council, the Tri-Matrix of Crystal Star. Many of the Crystal Guardians affiliated with the Andromedan Councils and the Tri-Matrix of Crystal Star were not experienced as strategic war generals with advanced training in AI-based targeting technologies. This required first getting past the blank slating and consciousness sweeps of military-grade psycho-emotional warfare and direct thought stream implementation in order to see what happened in our past as a result of the negative agenda invasion. Sourcing the invasion from a neighboring fallen universal system revealed the source of the infection as a result of AI hybridization that generated stacks of fallen phantom-based realities, allowing a glimpse into the far advanced future timelines. More specifically, the artificial timelines of these fallen races that had chosen to disseminate multiple civilizations filled with living species on their quest for immortality by existing in the godless worlds of artificial intelligence. So if you guys remember Lyra in the last episode, we talked about it being the fourth harmonic universe, which is dimensions 12 to 10. So now this is going to mention the third harmonic universe. For human beings, these consciousness bodies exist through the densities and as aspects of the higher self and light body. These aspects are called stations of identity. In the third harmonic universe, in dimensions 7, 8, and 9, the 3 layers of the monadic matrix and the Gaian matrix. So, stations of identity talks about how the universal matrix is made up of 5 density levels. Each of the 5 hold 3 different holographic dimensional fields. And then there's groups of 3 spectrums of frequency that manifest as platforms of consciousness perception expressions. Each of these density levels are organized into a trinity of dimensional reality fields, and each of these reality fields are also called a harmonic universe. So this is very, very good knowledge if you're someone that really truly wants to know the universe and what it is that we are existing in. This is breaking it down as fine detailed as it could really get of what we're in, how it's structured, and how you can come in tune with it and work with it.
As you can see, we are also in process of...
So yeah, the 5th harmonic is the threefold flame. The 4th harmonic is the cradle of Lyra, where the Christos avatar is. And then we have the 3rd, which is where we're exploring right now, which is the Andromeda core, and the other ones that are with it as well. And it talks about the monadic matrix being a part of the 7 through 9. So the spirit body of the monad is the higher mind function of the observer, watching and aware of forming concepts and making assessments. It is the higher mind principle consciousness that comes to neutral conclusions and decisions based on accumulated experiences. When this spirit is in control of the nervous system of the body, it makes higher evolution of consciousness action possible. Oh, that is such a deep knowing right there. I'll read that again. When the spirit is in control of the nervous system of the body, it makes higher evolution of consciousness action possible. The nervous system is so important to regulate in this world. And if you are not regulating your own nervous system, then whatever is regulating your nervous system is likely going to have a grip on the consciousness of your life, basically. Think about how difficult it is to try to live a normal, intentional life while having a dysregulated nervous system. It is tremendously difficult, especially when there's going to be triggers, impulse, reactiveness, and all these different things taking place because your nervous system is dysregulated. And it leaves you susceptible to manipulation. So when we're in tune, we have a healthy, regulated nervous system, then the higher self, the spirit source energy, is able to regulate through our chi that flows through us, which is the connection to our light body. So the monad spiritual body is the 7th, 8th, and 9th layer, but it starts connecting to the 8th chakra, which is the thymus or the higher heart. When the monad starts coming in like this, the whole heart complex changes pattern, meaning the heart chakra is no longer an astral heart, 4th chakra, it is a blue aqua heart. The heart chakra turns blue and the frequency coming through starts tuning blue. This is the connection to the turquoise of the mother arc, which ignites the inner Holy Spirit called the Amoria flame. So the 8th dimension is a gold color. But when the monad starts flowing in the diamond heart and the heart starts to configure, it actually looks blue. And they call this configuration the living crystal lotus heart or crystal rose heart. I call this galactivation. Oh, I love that. Galactivation. The Amoria flame. Let's check that out. Why not? The Amaria flame is activated when we are able to bring the 3 layers of our soul matrix into a triad body connection, and we begin monadic integration. The Amaria flame is the Holy Spirit that ignites in the center heart of the permanent seed atom that is located in the higher heart complex. The higher heart complex function is located in the 8th chakra at the thymus gland. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. So then there's the Gaian matrix, which is also a part of dimensions 9 through 7. And Gaia is basically known as our 7th dimensional Earth. So Gaia. And this is why you hear these different names too. You hear Earth, Gaia, there's also Terra. So Gaia is the 7th dimensional Earth. Earth is the 3D Earth. 5D is Terra. And you can connect to these different forms consciously through your mind as well. So Gaia has been used to describe the future Earth in its 7th dimensional form in the monad matrix, or the Andromeda matrix. Our planet Earth exists in 3 main formed identities in the universal time matrix. 3D Earth is called Earth or Terra. That's T-E-R-R-A. Then 5D Earth is called Terra. That's T-A-R-A. And 7D Earth is called Gaia. Different ET races and extra-dimensionals may call these future Earths by different names based on their language, such as Eurasia. They are all planet Earth at different stages of evolution in the timelines, but they're parallel, simultaneously happening, and we can access different ones depending upon our frequency that we embody. So some of us right now, even though we're sharing space, some of us are vibrationally living in a 5D Earth. Some of us are more vibrationally living in a 3D Earth. Some of us are more in a 7D Earth. And we're all parallel experiencing it through our avatar right now. And that's why it's like a split, so you say. That split is basically determined by the frequency that we're each in as an individual. And then we vibrate into that dimension of Earth, either 3, 5, or 7, naturally in our daily life. So we experience different perceptions, angles, and different options available of our daily experiences depending upon which dimensional Earth we're in, and that we experience through that lens. So it's really interesting. So it says the first seedings of the first 2 root races occurred on the 7D version of our planet called Gaia. The ascension cycle transpiring on this 3D Earth gives us the opportunity to reclaim these 7D fragments and consciousness pieces that were exploded and damaged in the cataclysms and extra-dimensional galactic wars. So the root races, oh man. Let's check out the root races. So the following is the root race seeding cycles, which describes the evolutionary time cycle and root race associated with each time cycle during planet Earth's evolution. We are in the 5th root race cycle and are here to heal and unite all of our fragments from the previous root race cycles, as well as to activate our 4th DNA strand. There are 3 main seeding cycles of root races. Wow, that's so wild to think about, because in my journey, not long ago, I had this realization within myself that we were re-experiencing and time traveling with our ancient civilizations. And what I mean by that is we've had a lot of our shadows, a lot of our pain body and wounds and fractured parts of our ancient memories resurfacing. Lemuria, Atlantis, Egypt, so on and so forth. They've all been surfacing lately in these last few years or so on a big level. And what I got from that was that we were basically filling in the gaps of these timelines, reclaiming our fractured parts, and closing out those timelines so that we can fully transcend into the next density. Because density 2 begins after dimension 3. Dimension 4 is the beginning of density 2. So we're heading into the second density and the fourth dimension of this planetary body, and then into the fifth dimension, Earth, which we call Terra. So that is great confirmation there of what I received intuitively about closing out and healing the fractured parts of these ancient civilization timelines that we've had. So fascinating. So the 3 ones, you got the seeding, which is the 7D Earth Gaia. You have 7D Earth, and the Polarians, and then you have the Hyperboreans. And then we'll go into the other ones when we get into the next episode. So let's talk about the Hyperboreans. The race lines of the Palladorians began their rescue mission for the Terrians through the parallel systems by first working in the etheric layers of Gaia to correct morphogenic instruction sets or DNA strands to be reassembled in order to retrieve the lost souls and help them ascend out. They began to seed themselves to the first 2 root races called the Polarians of Gaia and the Hyperboreans as their counterpart upon Gaia's anti-particle double. Through the Polarian and the Hyperborean DNA instruction sets, the law of polarity and the law of gender were first seeded into this universe. This method was designed to attract the polarity fractures into energetic synthesis, and to then merge consciousness life streams that existed in the fractured soul and monadic body parts, pulling them together on multiple dimensions simultaneously. Through the etheric layers of Gaia, these 2 root races began a long evolutionary journey to slowly rebuild the ascension template by first uniting soul and monadic expressions, leading to the ultimate fulfillment of the embodied avatar Christos, liquid plasma that is made possible through the Paradisian 7th root race lines in the future that was designed to pull together and unite all of the exploded planetary grids to merge the Earth, Terra, and Gaia, as well as reassemble the damaged DNA and spiritual body parts of the angelic human race lines that were first seeded upon Terra. Wow. Interesting. Oh, we're seeing some really good names being brought up here. We'll definitely touch on this. So Hyperborean Albion. So simultaneously when the Ophiuchus transmission began in December, there was a lot of Greek philosophers that came into awareness in the timelines around the evolution of mystery schools, starting with Ezekiel, then to Pythagoras, to Socrates and Plato, then moving through Aristotle, who tutored Alexander the Great, and many more of the Greek mathematicians and philosophers that were responsible for creating the foundation of many of the mystery schools that are still in use today. In metaphysics, Pythagoreanism and Aristotelism profoundly influenced Judeo-Islamic philosophical and theological thought, i.e. Kabbalah, during the Middle Ages, and continues to influence Christian theology. And, that's very interesting too, because what you see now is you see these people that are at the top of these religions, and they know this knowledge is tied in with their philosophies, the Judeo-Islamic, the Christian theologies. And it's funny it's getting brought up because we're seeing it brought to the surface big time right now, where people are really taking a look at what's going on with this Judeo-Islamic energy, as well as the Christian influence. And it's right in our faces today. And I'll just leave it at that. So this is the information. Oh, wow. Like now we're really stepping into like uncharted territory that leads people into places of, let's say, becoming dangerous to society. So this is the information that Aleister Crowley came into and began his arduous study for creating the Lima, and is the basis of esoteric information that the Masons and Freemasonry use today. This has a deep connection to the roots of Greece and the Greek islands in the Ionian Sea. We know with the root races, the Hyperboreans have been known for a long time in a variety of esoteric material. Both Rudolf Steiner and Blavatsky talked about the Hyperboreans. Man, we're pulling out all the OGs today. Like, we're really hitting on some things with this Hyperborea and Andromeda talk today. Now we're like really stepping into where does all of this occult, deep, esoteric knowledge come from? And now we're finding out. We're finding out the galactic and universal connection of what these key figures were working with and coming in tune with in this earth plane. Wow, that's so cool. And it's funny because I was actually talking the other day about how, this stuff that I'm sharing, like this, I teach this stuff at my retreats and all sorts of different places. And I was just really getting that feeling like, man, I'm really tapping into the deepest levels of knowledge that the most profound characters on this planet have studied and shared and built communities and religions and everything based off of. And it just confirmed it right there. I mean, wow. This is the stuff that Aleister Crowley was studying. Pythagoras, Ezekiel, Plato, Socrates, Rudolf Steiner, and Blavatsky. We're getting somewhere, guys. Oh, so it talks about grid working. So we have the current third dimensional Earth timeline that we're on. We are in the densest parts of the timeline of planet Earth possible. This density is the third dimension. This is what's known as density 1. Density 1 on planet Earth, you have two other parallels that are future timelines of Earth that are acting in conjunction with this one. It is hard to understand how timelines work. From this point of view, they are all simultaneous. There is a fifth dimensional Earth and seventh dimensional Earth, and we are all moving in a simultaneous evolution at the same time through multiple cycles of timelines. Wow. So let's just go through this real quick, the fall of Hyperborea, and then we're going to move into some videos to help us understand what it means and what it could look like to be a Andromedan starseed on this planet, and just a little bit more about Andromeda as well. So the reason why the Hyperboreans are so important to humanity is because this was the timeline of invasion, when a lot of the original trauma of the fall happened to human race. This is when the split in time occurred, and this is when the moon was brought to the planet as its companion satellite to manage the gravitational field. The root races during the process of human evolution, of humanity moving through the evolution cycles of the timelines into higher consciousness. This was a part of the original soul that was involved in the first seeding of helping the planet to reclaim her bits because the planet was exploded. We had all kinds of problems in the universe due to wearing conflicts. This is a part of the reseeding of a consciousness that was lost through ultra destruction, helping the consciousness to evolve and return to the original state of being and have a particular experience on the planet. The Hyperborean time period is thinking of a time when humanity lived in a golden age, without death or violence of any kind. This is when the level of identity is fully connected and fully embodied in your cosmic Christ consciousness, meaning that as a being, one has this understanding that you are fully connected with the Godhead. There is no pain and suffering. There are no types of violence or destruction situations that we deal with on planet Earth. So in the early root race cycle, there was a war that happened that caused the Hyperborean Holocaust, and this was known as the Electric Wars. When the Electric Wars happened to the Hyperboreans, they were split apart from the higher counterparts in Polaris. Oh yeah, Polaris. So, we got like companies called Polaris, and we have all these different things that talk about Polaris. So it's all deep in our subconscious, our galactic connection and galactic knowledge. So when you think of the Polarians and the Hyperboreans, they are part of the first root races that were ever seeded as a part of spirit coming into a type of body and having a consciousness on a planet. Really interesting. Phew. All right. We're going to take a little break from the knowledge reading. That was quite a bit. But wow, it was potent. We came across many realizations here.
As you can see, we are still in the process of conducting a peaceful protest here out.
Phew. How cool.
Far from the coast, where we
Welcome in, Lulabella.
oil extraction needs to be stopped.
Lulabella or anybody else on Instagram. If you guys hit me on the YouTube side, I can put your comments on the screen for the collective.
We have a message for you from the people. Thousands of people who feel the same way.
If you have any comments or anything you'd like to share about Andromeda or Hyperborea or any of the knowledge that we have went through today, feel free to drop it in the comments. I mean, we hit so many different angles there with this Andromeda knowledge. It's really fascinating, truly. I feel like we're super blessed to be in a clear space in a time of such change and chaos, to really just be being fed and attuned to the original blueprints of what this life is. And it's such a blessing. Like, I really feel it in my heart right now. The opportunity to be able to anchor in these codes, to become aware and remember, and also do it without facing resistance. All right, so let's go ahead and start up some of our videos and see what some others have to say about Andromeda and our connection with Andromeda.
This could be good for me. Lately I was feeling like I need
2022 has
That's
been
'cause
another
that is a
massive year
meditation
for the
for it.
Starseed Awakening. But if you haven't already identified your starry origins, then this video will help you to remember where your soul originated from after it left source consciousness, so that you can reconnect to your purpose, survive the ascension, and fulfill your mission during 2023. For those of you who are still in the process of awakening, let's recap on what a starseed actually is and explore 7 of the more common civilizations so that you can quickly identify which one you most feel connected to. Now, you may feel aligned to a few different star or planetary races, and this is quite normal as we are vast, ancient, multi-dimensional beings of light who exist in many realms simultaneously. But we usually have stronger soul memories of one particular group, so trust your intuition here and don't second guess yourself. Your first response is usually the correct one. A starseed is a human who exists on Earth in the present. However, while starseeds are definitely human by birth and DNA, Their soul origins lie outside of the Earth plane. Starseeds originate from many different higher or alternate dimensions, parallel universes, star systems, planets, galaxies, and planes of existence. In this video, we're going to be exploring Andromedan starseeds and their mission for 2023. So this is my main soul family. I am part of a small percentage of society that originated from a galaxy called Andromeda, over 2.5 million light years away, and I have been sent here on a mission to assist humanity through the ascension process into the Golden Age. Now, anyone with an Andromedan planetary origin seeks freedom. They lust after this feeling of freedom and often change jobs, homes, or relationships in their search. At some point they realise that the freedom they seek and the feelings they often have of being trapped are not due to their actual circumstances. The true freedom they seek comes only from within. It is found only by developing self-love and the inner spiritual self. The experienced Andromedan understands this and utilises this wisdom to create a reality that enables these needs to be honoured. Andromedans must work with issues of self-confidence and love. When these are developed, their inner freedom and spiritual connectedness will be rediscovered within. It is essential for them to trust and have faith in themselves. Over time, the connection between self and God is solidified, enabling past life memories to flow and old talents to resurface. Many Andromedans unveil that their true skills are linked to a spiritual pathway and become known as teachers and healers, often guiding others into greater self-confidence and acceptance. This aligns them beautifully with the energies of the heart and crown chakras. The Andromedan mission for 2023. So if you've identified as an Andromedan starseed, then your focus for 2023 will be on helping others to clear higher heart and crown chakra issues. These include, but are not limited to, self-love, self-worth, lack of faith, feeling stuck, shame, aloofness, unfeeling, anger, money issues, victimhood, isolation, grief, depression, judgment, and perfectionism. Activate your profound healing and teaching abilities to empower people to access their inner wisdom so that they too can be of service and experience greater freedom, faith, and fulfillment. If you are an Andromedan starseed who has claimed their spiritual light and power, you will also be guiding others to recognise that they too are God in a body. They never left home in the first place. There was never any separation. Remind them that there is nothing to grieve for, as nothing was ever lost, and that there is nothing to judge, because everything is perfect. This will help them to feel a deep sense of personal freedom. Show others to truly see the value in themselves so that they can transcend their limitations, activate their spiritual heart, and hold a clear vision of the emerging Golden Age. In the next video, I'll be exploring the mission of the Arcturian starseeds. I'll see you then.
So yeah, that's a little bit of knowledge about what it looks like and what kind of characteristics you can identify with if you are an Andromedan star seed, or if you're trying to see and help someone discover if they're an Andromedan star seed. That's a great channel to look at for star seed characteristics and things about star seeds. He's a great guide, and he has wonderful, very grounded and calm content for acquiring the knowledge. So we'll go ahead and continue, and we'll move into our next video.
Hi, this is Debbie Solaris, and I get asked a lot about the Andromedans, so I just want to share some information about the Andromedan civilization and its galactic history. After the Lyran Draconian Wars, quite a few of the Lyran humans who escaped the wars wandered in our galaxy for quite a while, as they were hunted and pursued by the draconian beings who destroyed their planets. They were living in hollowed-out asteroids and moons. They were basically living on crafts and having to move constantly all the time, looking for a place that was safe. Several of these Lyran starships sought refuge in outlier constellations, such as Cygnus and Cassiopeia, that were created to be way stations for weary Lyran refugees to rest and replenish provisions. While these refugees were hiding out in Cassiopeia, there were cat beings in the Cassiopeian system that assisted them and recommended that they make their new home and settlements in the Andromeda constellation. It is thought that the beings from the Cassiopeian system interacted with them approximately 2.5 million years ago. The Cassiopeian cat people recommended Andromeda because they knew that the Lyran refugees were weary of traveling and hiding, and Andromeda was relatively close to their star system. The Lyran refugees ended up settling in 2 solar systems in the Andromeda constellation. We know them as Star 42 and Star 44. Star 42 is Zenithal, which is now their star system. Star 44 is Tishtay. Star 42 has 27 planets around the binary stars. Star 44 has 9 planets, but all of the planets are equal to or greater than the size of Jupiter. The planets in these star systems were terraformed to accommodate the new Lyran inhabitants. Throughout several generations, the new Andromedan humanoid races evolved physically to adapt to their environmental conditions of their new planets, which were very different from those in Lyra. Due to the lack of gravity, their body types became much more elongated and their skin turned from white to blue. Unlike the Syrians, who have developed blue skin due to the genetic mixing of Lyran and Vegan refugees, the Andromedan people developed their blue skin due to the very different environments of the Andromedan planets, which caused a pigmentation change caused by the ingestion of copper-based minerals. It was in the food and everything they ate, and their double sun had an effect on this too. The vibration and frequency on Andromeda was also very different from that of Lyra, so there was additional color spectrums that affected the humanoids that lived there. The Andromedans are predominantly human races from the star system Zenithal. In the Andromeda constellation, there are at least 28 different races of beings. Some are humanoid and some are not. The life forms in Andromeda include humanoids, plants, animals, insects, and also etheric and plasmic conscious life forms. There are also 7 to 9 foot tall winged humanoids existing in the higher dimensions. These may have their origins with the avian races. The Andromedans are approximately 45,000 years ahead of us technologically and are a very spiritually advanced race. The Andromedan humanoids have light blue skin and are a telepathic race. They usually wear the traditional multicolored Galactic Federation jumpsuits.
There's some more information about Andromedans. Debbie Solaris is a great guide. Follow her channel. She's been on many different Gaia TV episodes and a lot of other places as well with a lot of the OGs when it comes to the Ascended Masters and galactic knowledge. So with that, we are going to now play our closeout video. And this video is going to be a DNA meditation activation from Andromeda. So this is a channeled Andromedan frequency activation. It's about 5 minutes long. So get yourself comfortable, get relaxed, allow yourself to receive and be a part of this beautiful magic. And I'm going to play the video, and it'll just be a nice meditation activation for you, where you don't have to pay attention. You close your eyes, relax, and just draw in the frequencies. So I'm going to play this video, and then after we'll close out the space. And then I'm going to close this out with a awesome track, song, music by Donnie Arcade, who's a conscious galactic rapper. And he has a song called Andromedans. And I think you guys will really like it when we close out. So go ahead and get comfortable for the meditation. Sit, lay down. If you're moving, that's okay too. Just remember, it begins in the mind, and it begins to opening in the mind that we are receiving the frequencies and receiving the healing. And let's go ahead and get into it.
This could be good for me. Lately I was feeling like I need a purpose.
Eo moro saka asmi inonos. Samaya are vikin. Temo oro kunya apatatas. Shaish kono orin. Inma are kitipotos. Sha samaya akin. Etapo oro odaira kama are dinaba. Inmo oshama sma asmish. Amara idrepotut, tatra asash kama ahlina kanya. O samaras, ejim o ora bikida a, elvo urus ma ashva ikina ananas. E o uyo ora, e I ura aya, ara I o mo osakara ai mo kumo onotu. Ya ara sekin, Somo osaba aya ari ita posush. Omarit, asa iyo mo oros kanaa, aya ardi mo kanaa is, isha maasa ba ay kito utus, asama ay aru, ay mara inamoor. si imo rukuna maata paik. Enyo osmo roshka na vaaras. Yo rukuna maati pita oro tatya. Elo urus ashma ava arikinya. Ita po urukut atabaras.
Whew. Wow, that was so beautiful. Light language activation from Andromeda. And to close out, just want to give my gratitude for this space, for all that is possible to make this happen today. I give gratitude for all of you for being present, whether it's live or in the replay. May we continue to be prosperous in our energy. May we continue to generate, to sustain generational wealth and health for all on the planet. May we continue to karmically learn our lessons so we may free ourselves energetically. And may we continue to reassemble our fractured pieces so that our consciousness can be in balance and wholeness within our being. Unconditional love. We now close out this sacred space of Grand Rising with ChristoLight. And this was the Andromeda episode. Thank you, Starseed Journey on Instagram, Lula Bella, for being present. You guys stick around. Enjoy this closing music track by Donnie Arcade called Andromedans. And that will be our closeout. Wholeness and one love.
We want to know everything. We want to know everything. Good for us to know everything. We're not no haters, no, we just want data. Teleporting from what you call Saturn. That's why we gave you Satan and a Santa. Saturdays, yeah, it's all like a pattern. Hexagon, crystal soul, monumental programs. We convert it to matter. You're protected from the simulation. No matter what happens, it don't matter. Talking about traveling, thinking backwards. You go through the inner space, get there faster. We everywhere at the same time. Rocket ships is old school, you can have it. We gave you nighttime, told you go to sleep. Gave you 4 seasons, artificial things. Just like time, just like light speed. Filters on the sun, we did the editing. Wow. Andromedans, Andromedans, well, Andromedans, 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 Insecticons, Andromedans, Insecticons, Andromedans, Insecticons, Andromedans, yeah. Colorful worlds, like I'm in the lab now, like I'm in the lab. See me flying through the firmament, all the way up, turning it, hologram futuristic, all we want is analytics, ain't been here in a minute, so you know we had to visit, must love the Andromeda, we got wings, they ain't flying up, flying through the 5D, 6D, 7D, know your mind can't imagine it, universe like an app store, anything you want, that's yours, try to make this matrix perfect as possible, don't try to leave it, won't be war, Andromedans, Andromeda.